Hello everyone, it's Sagrannus here with Sagrannus Gaming Plays, and we have a new treat for you today. We're going to dive into Chroma Squad, if you hadn't guessed that by the very, very unsubtle trailer that I did about a week ago. So what is Chroma Squad? It's a bit of a tricky one. It's sort of a manager game, but also a tactical RPG. You manage this team of stunt actors, I guess, and help them build up their own studio after they quit the previous one. Now this is where we're going to kick off. We're actually in Season 2. I've played through the first season, I didn't record it, just so I can get a feel for things. So let's dive into Season 2 and see what happens. Now the dialogue is extremely corny in this game, and that's fantastic and terrible at the same time. It's fantastic in the groaning at your father's jokes kind of way. You also choose all your characters, and I had to choose a nerd for myself as the lead. And yeah, I mean it's a fun game, and there are many things that appeal about this game. It's sort of tongue-in-cheek humour is quite good. It's very it's almost self-conscious in the way it's written. The pixel art is nice. I mean, it's not the nicest pixel art, but it's got its own little charm, and the music in this game is fantastic. The only music I'm actually going to be using in these recordings are the in-game music, and of course the intro and outro will be Chroma Squad music as well. And you can get the OST by itself on Steam if you want, though I recommend getting the game as well. I mean, it's only going to set you back $20 Australian for the whole lot, so why not jump in and grab it? It's definitely lots of fun. But we're going to be doing episodes of this, episodes of Neverwinter, and episodes of World of Warships over time to mix things up so you don't get bored with one game or another. And yeah, so as you can see, the combat's fairly standard turn-based sort of stuff. You have got special abilities, but they're only available once you've turned into your sort of Power Ranger form, as it were. So my guys are currently fighting just as themselves. And as you can see, my Power Ranger transformation button is Conflate, because you can choose all your taglines and your move names and things like that, which I think is particularly cool. And of course, you sort of wonder about all of the things. I tried to be slightly amusing. I don't know if I've succeeded necessarily, but yeah. Basically, the thing at the top there, you've got this audience meter, and that allows you to see how you're going in regards to how well this episode that you're filming is going. And when you get to where that little indicator is, which I've just hit, you can then turn into your Power Ranger forms, and then you unlock weapons, special moves, and you of course look like you do. And you can, in the management side of the game, you can get upgrades at the studio to make things work better, happen better. You can also get new equipment, weapons, armor, that kind of thing for all your characters, and you can design your mecha, which is a giant sort of robot that you can piece together each arm, and sets of legs and torsos and helmets and things like that. And they appear as a sort of special extra game layout. Now you can see I've conflated. My guys did shout conflating the evidence. I may have been spending a lot of time in a seminar the day I started playing this game, and that's how that happened. But yeah, so as you can see, they've now got special moves. You know, able to hit everyone. They've got guns. Some of them have got guns or bows or swords. They can do various things. I'll try to point them when they happen. And of course, enemies can dodge, and so can you. As you can see, they've got a bow there, and it's very sort of cheesy, sort of Power Ranger-y sort of stuff. So if you grew up in the era that I did when Power Rangers was on TV, then you'll remember it fondly, I hope, and then sort of enjoy the corny cheesiness of it. I mean, the fact that at the start of the game, the armor your guy's wearing is literally just cardboard. Now, most of the story, I should have said this earlier, but there are massive spoiler alerts to this, because a lot of the story does occur during the episodes in sort of the dialogue and things like that. So if you haven't played this and you don't want the story ruined for you, then probably best to switch off as soon as possible. Though hopefully anyone watching this is watching this for giggles rather than the story. I mean, it's not the greatest story. It's quite good. It's got some amusing lines and interesting points, and there's a bit of moralising as well with this. In this game, sort of gender equality and things do come into discussion in some way. You know, instead of having a damsel in distress, they decided to have a dude in distress, essentially, which is interesting. Yeah, you can name your characters obviously at the start of the game, so I've named them all. You've got Titus as the lead, your assault is Aurelia, the scout at the top there is Corellia, then you've got Agrippa who's our techie, and Raven who's our healer. And you see Techie's using his multi-shot, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does knock everyone back and hits quite a few people at a time. And here's Raven with her healing. But you can also, the cool thing is you've got this teamwork button, so you can get people to gather around and team up to do more damage. They'll all strike together. If you use a weapon and they've all got their weapons, you know, ready to go, they'll all use their weapons. And then, of course, you've probably seen from any other gameplay, if you have all of them together and use either the weapon or the normal attack, they do a special sort of super move. I think I do one in this episode, so you'll get to see that later on. Further, if you need to get someone across the battlefield and someone else is in teamwork mode, they can actually help them somersault and do acrobatics across to get them a bit further, which is quite a cool idea. Now see him do it here, and he flips over, and then he can, it actually just extends his move range. Different characters can be thrown further, and different characters can throw people further. And there's a bit of the bad jokes, you know, he'll do that. But yeah, so I'll give you a bit of an impression of the game as well for this first episode anyway. I realise those episodes will sort of just play through and I'll natter at you as we go, but I found it extremely entertaining. The only time it gets a bit annoying is if you fail a mission, and it does happen from time to time and you have to restart it. And there is a sort of a game over state where if your season doesn't go particularly well, you can actually lose so many fans that you won't get a contract for the next season, which is quite cool. But it can be really annoying if your teammates, because you lose huge amounts of points if your teammates get knocked out or anything during the fight. And also, even if you use finishing moves too early, you actually lose fans because you're a bit preemie with that one. And there are some enemies that really seem a bit unbalanced and OP at times. There's sort of no way to gauge the difficulty of a mission that you're going into. I mean, there are clues to how difficult it might be, but you never know. Okay, so we're teleporting to Cerebro, who's our sort of brain in a bottle, and it's in danger. You may recognise this from the trailer. So you can enjoy the plot. And of course, in a bit of self-promotion, I have called my team SG Strike Force, as in Sagrannus Gaming Strike Force. And I did name my mecha Deus Ex Machina, and you will see what my guys yell out when they go into their mecha, which hopefully is a joke you will get, but you may not, and I apologise if you don't. So we're going into a fight here to protect our brain in a bottle, because the brain in the bottle is of the key element of the story, and that it often alerts you to dangers within the city and saves you and things. And that's it's quite a cool sort of plot device. And because of course this is on a grid pattern, very pixely, we don't do roundhouse kicks here, we do square house kicks. Okay, cool, and we'll use our multi-shot there, get all four of them. It's interesting, if you really don't stay on the ball in this game with getting your guys leveled up, I mean, sorry, not leveled up, but geared up, as it were, you do begin to suffer quite badly, because some characters can sort of deal with being a little bit underpowered for the missions, but others, especially your techie and your scout, will actually quickly get wiped out, because they're not doing, I mean, there are some missions in this where my techie has done no damage whatsoever, really. I mean, characters like Aurelia and Titus, who are the assault and leader respectively, have a fair amount of health, and in particular Aurelia can do a lot of damage. She can one-hit a lot of the basic enemies, as can Titus, though even sometimes he can't take them down. But you have to sort of plan very carefully, because the AI can be quite unforgiving, and some of the boss characters can really trounce you quite well. So you have to, you can't do the thing that which I think is a good thing for this game, is that in some games when you've got teams, you have one or two characters who really pull a greater load, and others sort of are just there along for the ride. I mean, that could even happen in XCOM, Anyone known Enemy Within, in that you could have one or two characters in a squad, particularly like a support character or a sniper, who could basically win the mission for you, and the others would sort of just be there to distract enemies. In this, you have to play your team as a team. They have to work together, or it's very hard to win. Even if it's just, you know, team working, so that weak characters actually do damage and that kind of thing. As you can see, they're dropping some stuff as we go along here, and that's all loot that I can use to create new equipment, because you can buy new equipment if you guys, but you can also create, craft new equipment, and the crafting equipment can sometimes be much better. It's a little bit more random, both in what it's called and what it looks like, but also in its actual effects, because whereas when you're buying on, you know exactly what effects it has, quite a few of the special crafted items actually come up with you know, there's that two random properties and you don't know until you've made it. You might have seen that as a little screen pop up. Director's objective. So to get bonus points basically for each episode, you need to perform various acts within the match. So the director will give instructions like he wants this much acrobatics, or he wants you to kill the enemy with a finishing move. You want to take down a certain number of enemies in a certain move. And that's quite a cool idea. As you can see, we just told him to go away, the boss to go away and come back properly, because just hopping onto the stage wasn't sort of traumatic enough. Right. So rushing in now, you might have noticed I'm doing this a bit differently in regards to how I'm recording this as well. I've been recording the game itself separately, and then I'm just going to be dubbing over these ones just to see if this change of format's any better or worse than the other recording format where I just talk at you while I play. I'm probably going to go off on more tangents like this, but we'll see how we go. As always, feedback is very much appreciated. Okay, so see everyone's loaded up for teamwork here, so he's going to jump in, and I'm not sure why I did it like that. Didn't record this a while ago. That's the one downside. I sometimes forget what I was thinking. My brain works in mysterious ways. Ah, that's why. One of my objectives is to defeat the boss before I defeat the minions. All the minions. So that's why I'm trying to do what I'm doing. I'm going to just clear out some minions, because they also want me to do a finishing move. The best way, and the only way to do a finishing move is if you have all if you have all 5 of your teammates around that. Which means unless you have that objective and one of your teammates gets wiped out, unless you're very sneaky, you can't actually do much about getting them back up. Later on, the healer does get the ability to resurrect friends, so that helps, but you still take the penalty of having them knocked out. So we're going to teamwork, and we're about to see a finishing move, led by Raven, our healer. This is quite a cool little animation. It's pretty cool. See? Oh, it's all the corners of the 90s pouring out right there. And there we go, we've wiped him out, and we've finished the mission, and we've actually maxed out our audience points for this match. 4,000 of 4,000. And there's a bit more story. Basically just congratulations, well done. Very corny, very sort of typical episodic style, which is very, very cool. Okay, so we're going to actually be wrapping up in a second, because I'm going to be trying to avoid any risk of stories, emails, and other spoilers that go on in the management. There are just emails and things, as well as just the management stuff, which I don't think is particularly interesting for the purpose of this. So, I've been Sagrannus. This has been Sagrannus Gaming Plays Chroma Squad Episode 1. Subscribe and like below. Let me know what you think of the new format, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks guys. See you later.